that rum. Oh, you know how the mix be. I might sleep in all day, I might party all night, might not see the sun until the sunrise. Women, liquor, food, wake up every morning to weed. Women, liquor, food, wake up every morning to weed. Women, liquor, food, wake up every morning to weed. Women, liquor, food, wake up every morning to. If I mix the coke with the hand, then you know that I'm getting bent. If I light it up, nigga, then you know a nigga getting lit. I ain't tripping on a nigga chick, cause she ain't better than the one I'm with. Getting money, nigga, street smart, cause I hustle till I'm dumb rich. Women, liquor, food, wake up every morning to weed. Women, liquor, food, wake up every morning to weed. Women, liquor, food, wake up every morning to weed. Women, liquor, food, wake up every morning to. Last night I passed out drunk, woke up in the morning still tipsy, off the coke and that rum. Oh, you know how the mix be. I might sleep in all day, I might party all night, might not see the sun until the sunrise. Women, liquor, food, wake up every morning to weed. Women, liquor, food, wake up every morning to weed. Women, liquor, food, wake up every morning to weed. Women, liquor, food, wake up every morning to weed. Women, liquor, food, wake up every morning to weed. Women, liquor, food, wake up every morning to weed. Women, liquor, food, wake up every morning to weed. Women, liquor, food, wake up every morning to.
Rock and roll again. Rock and roll again. Rock and roll again. Rock and roll again. Rock and roll.
Alright, we on. But yeah.
Yeah.
So I was saying, I don't know
So
if you heard me, but I was saying I think that it could be sort of like a mirror inside of a mirror effect, like you know.
yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
Yep. I heard you say that, and I dig. So I dig what you're saying. And so that you're explaining how you see the potential for this being a virtual reality, and why we could perceive that, why we might entertain that because of our own creation of virtual reality and our inevitable mirroring that virtual reality with our reality. So it's now to create this conundrum, like, oh shit, maybe somebody did this and we're in it.
Yeah. So you know what I mean?
Shit.
Because it
Yeah, I
can
get
keep
it.
going on and on. You can create a reality in a reality. Yeah.
That's right. So I mean, with that in mind, real is simply what we perceive.
Well,
That's why I said what I said about being particular when you say live a real life. Stop tuning into the bullshit as much and live a real life. It's like, well, I mean, we've been in situations, we've been around people who were in circumstances mentally or physically that we had been in at a point earlier on in our lives, and we recognize that in that time we thought, as we do now, that our lives or the lives we were living were real. Right? And we felt then about those choices like we feel now about these choices.
Yep, these are facts.
Yeah.
And that's what I was gonna add too. Like I believe by definition, the way I see real is whatever we agree upon
to be real.
Whatever we agree upon to be a fact.
Yeah, that makes it real if we agree upon it.
That's right. That's right. Like money.
Yeah, like money.
The value of that piece of paper
Mm-hmm.
that is backed by nothing but the agreement.
Yeah.
We all are having this mass hypnosis. We're under this mass hypnosis, where we all say, hey, this piece of paper, as opposed to that tissue or that bag, this piece of paper has value, and I'll give you what I value in place of it, or in trade for it, and or I'll give you my time, or I'll give you, my labor in place of it, because we all accept this concept, and which makes it real. Yep. The moment that people wake up and realize that it's just a piece of paper and it literally has no value, it's just perception. This is going to, and I think that a lot of what's happening now is directed towards getting ahead of that inevitability that people will realize.
Yeah,
and then what will ensue when digital. They do realize it.
Yeah, because it's moving digital, like
right.
Where now it's like a numbers game. What's your number, more so, as opposed to having actual paper, something tangible to hold.
That's right.
And that to me just further goes to show that these are just concepts in our mind, that these values that we add to these things. Like, I don't care if it's a Porsche or a Mercedes, a Benz or whatever. You go to Germany, everything over there is a Mercedes Benz. The garbage trucks, the buses, the
police cars,
whatever, they all Benzes. So it's like the value just comes.
That's because they're a domestic product. But in those same places, you see old Cadillacs or old Ford Bronco, and that shit is like a big fucking deal. Right. It's a foreign vehicle.
It's a foreign vehicle. If you got a Jeep, American Jeep Eagle over there or something, you know what I mean? It's like,
you the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you the shit. You the shit.
It's, I think that it's odd that we value this stuff enough to kill over. It's only expensive because it was shipped over here.
Right. And that doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah, really.
That doesn't matter anymore. First of all, because it was shipped over here from China with a stamp on it from wherever the place that they're being paid to make it by is named, and that's what they'll put on it. But it's all being made in China.
Yeah. It's coming from there at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If it's not being made in China, then the components from which it is
being made,
apprised, is made in China.
Yep.
Okay. So all that. Oh, it's valuable because it's imported. Is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. And
motherfuckers are buying. They're buying a steam. That's why they're paying $1,300 for about maybe $5 worth of rubber and plastic and pig leather.
Yeah, with somebody else's last name on it.
Right.
And
happy to do it. Happier if you gave them a pair of the best, the most expensive thing they ever paid for. You gave them the exact same thing, made in the exact same place, but just with their last name on it, they would not have the value for it.
Yeah, the value's
that
not.
They do with that colonizer's name on it, that European's name on it.
Yeah, they wouldn't see it. They wouldn't.
The psychosis is deep. Shit is deep. Shit is fucking deep. There are many. See, that's one of the benefits to dealing with people in prison. Most of them, had they sat there long enough, most of them are free of their delusions. You're not a master criminal. You're not the toughest motherfucker in the world. You're not the slickest, the smartest. You're not the best looking. Like, all of those ego-based, asinine ideas over time wash away in that prison because you realize there are thousands of other people, other guys who were thinking the same shit you were thinking, and you see yourself at different stages. So you're into the first year, and everybody's looking at you like, I remember when I was like that. 2 years later, a guy comes in, and you be like, I remember when I was like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about the people in there that makes them, to me, more open-minded is that they have run all of their best ideas, and it's got them in their worst trouble. And they are humbled by that. They're like, you know what? I don't know what I thought I knew. So I'm ready to learn now. Wait till they get in there and start reading, going to school and all type of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, my younger brother went to prison and he got his bachelor's. He went to prison for 10 years and got his bachelor's in psychology, and came right out and went straight to Columbia University, the third top Ivy League institution in the world.
That's hot.
Columbia
That's
University.
Hot. Yeah, that's hot.
We grew up 6 blocks from Columbia University. He never expressed any interest in going to Columbia University.
Yeah, because Columbia is close to what? Harlem? It's close to...
It's in Harlem.
It's in Harlem.
It's close. It's right there. It's essentially in Harlem. It's in Harlem because the property is so big that it stretches into Harlem, but it's just outside of Harlem.
Yeah, because
technically it is Harlem, but we never really considered that part Harlem because it's Broadway. It's Amsterdam. It's from 1/10 to no, not 1/10. It's from like 1/19th, like 1/19th, something like that. Is that? It's about 119th Street, maybe 117th Street where it starts, and then goes up to like 124th, 123rd. So it's in Harlem. It's in Harlem, but it's Ivy League, like I said.
I know it's so big. I kind of thought it was his own
now
little city.
Not only does he, huh?
I said it's so big. I kind of thought it was his own little city.
What? Columbia?
Yeah.
The university itself? Yeah. It is his own little city. I mean, if you go inside, it's like it doesn't have like stores and stuff like that because all that stuff is right outside of it. Mm-hmm. But like it is definitely very intricate and very filled out, and it's a lot of fucking land too.
Yeah.
It's enclosed. Yeah. It's enclosed.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: like, how, because you was there, like during that era, the paid in full era. Like, how accurate do you think that movie was? Like,
how accurate do I think it was?
Yeah, or like how accurate was it in your opinion?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was accurate in its depiction of the types of activities that were going on during that time, but it was inaccurate in its depiction of the degree that those 3 individuals were engaging in the activity. You know what I mean? Like they made this story seem a little smaller, considerably smaller than what it was. Right?
So they kind of narrowed it down to those 3.
Yeah. No, they shrunk their story down.
Oh, they shrunk their story. It was bigger than that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was doing way more than that, man. Way more than that.
Wow.
Way more than that. Like Paul and them was going crazy. They was doing a lot of crazy over the top, shit, which I used to constantly be on them about and trying to tell them this is, I think Paul was the first person I said that to. This is your business, not show business. But I was like, yo, and I had a little cousin used to be fucking around with them hanging out with them or whatever. And I said, yo, you gotta stay the fuck away from them. Because I said, Rich is gonna go to jail. Alpo's gonna get killed, and AZ's he's gonna tell. I told him that.
Wow.
You know, and I mean, AZ didn't tell him the way I thought he did. He would. He told on the guys who killed him and his aunt and that 13-year-old girl that he was fucking with. Because he used to fuck with them young ass girls.
They left that out. I didn't know it was no little girl.
Yeah, it was a little girl. I think she was like 13 years old. 13, 14 years old.
Wow.
He fucked with them young ass girls. That's it. That's not, you know what I mean? Like I don't have nothing against A at all, right? Me and A cool or whatever, you know? The thing is that if it happened, it happened. And if you weren't bothered by the fact that you were dealing with young ass girls back then, don't be bothered by it now.
Hey, that's about as real as it could get, I guess.
Control them.
But man, that is crazy.
Don't be.
Yeah, man.
I'm saying that this is
Wait, what happened? Hold on, I hear some interference.
I said, I'm saying that this, because somebody says to him, yo, Cavario was talking about you, like, you know, I want you to do it. They didn't have a problem with you.
But it's still there. I can't hear nothing. It's still there.
Yeah. It's still there?
Okay, there we go. We good.
And what about now?
Yeah, we good.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, this situation, you know, with the paid in full. I talked to Charles, right, the director of the movie. I talked to him on the set of Uncle Drew. I was up there with Shaq and what's the little homie's name? I see his face and I can't remember his name. But and I was talking to dude because he was the director on that, and I was like, yo, bro, like, because I was out there the night that they shot the scene in front of Willie Burgers.
That's where everybody was.
I put those.
That's when everybody was
out
there
with
with
outside.
the car and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's real. Like that right there. That was a perfect depiction of what it was like on a Saturday night or a Thursday night.
You could feel that especially through the screen too. Like,
that was real.
Yeah.
That was so accurate. It was so really. There were even cars there that were actually from that time. My man Unique that just came home. Right? I did his book for him. It's called A Roar in Harlem.
Okay.
He got locked up in '93. And that was it. That was his. He got life. He had his indictment was $432 million in 1993. So that would be like $1 billion today.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
And he couldn't read or write, and had he had the most popular club in Harlem, Club 2000. All right. And he had a record store, Mecca Audio. That's where that's where it come from. He made that up.
Okay.
All
okay.
Right? He also made up Hip Hop Hooray. Hey. He made that up too.
Wow.
And because he from Jamaica, and you know that hip hop could not exist if it was not for Jamaican music and culture.
Yes,
hip-hop
indeed.
Could not exist.
Right.
So there's something in that soil that just he got it, and he's just creative like that. But he Unique's convertible M3, white one with the wide body on it.
Yeah.
That's Dane Dash was driving it.
Looked like it had the fins on the side.
Right.
Yeah.
That car made that run many times.
That's an actual car. Like
that's his actual car. His car.
Deep. That's deep.
You know, Dane rented it from some guy who bought it at auction.
Wow.
And the guy riding with Dame in that is Bob Allah. Bob is Kareem Biggs' younger brother, man Bob.
Okay.
Kareem Biggs from Rockefeller.
Yeah.
And you know, the thing that Charles said was that when I said it and he agreed, I said, what was that about? Like, why did they reduce? I have the original script that AZ wrote, you know, and they should have did that because one, it was true. Two, it gives context to all the things that they were doing because there was a kid named L.A. who was a little older than us, and he was everything that him and Rich, you know, were emulating. Where Rich was emulating and he was emulating Rich, AZ.
Okay.
You know, but you know, I asked Charles. I said, was it that the story was they just couldn't imagine a bunch of uneducated little black kids running around in America, you know, making hundreds of thousands of dollars on a daily basis, buying all kinds of European cars and outrageous jewelry and all type of shit. They just couldn't imagine that some little dumbass, little uneducated niggas could be doing that. That to them, it just no way. Nobody's gonna believe that. Nobody's gonna believe these young black kids were making all this money, you know, making money like that, and you know, impacting the the environment like that. Nah. He's like, yeah. I said they just wouldn't accept that these little niggas was doing it like they was doing it. He said, yeah. That's okay. You know, so it definitely under expressed that situation, you know, and were they making more money than everybody else? Not by a long shot. They were drawing a lot of attention to themselves. They were drawing more attention to themselves than most everybody else, because most everybody else had more fucking sense. And it was really Alpo. You know, A tried to keep a low profile, but it was hard to be associated with those two. You know, Rich was flashy, you know, emulating LA. And, you know, it was hard to keep a low profile with those two of the hottest niggas in Harlem. So it's kind of hard to keep a low profile. And you're their boss. Like his people see you, and then you ride in nice cars, and every time you buy something, they go buy the same thing, a different color and different thing. Like there's no way for you to keep but so low a profile. You know what I'm saying? But there were a lot of people, bro, who was getting it like that back then. You know?
Yeah, because we got it through, like, hip-hop once again. It was, like, glamorized. Because I'm from L.A., you know, like, being on the West Coast, we didn't really know what was going on in Harlem other than what we heard through the music and through the culture. You know what I mean? And it was, like, they were just, like, street legends up until they made the movie. When they made the movie, it was like, wow, they about to do a movie about it. You know what I mean? It just was kind of crazy.
Let me tell you something. If it hadn't been for where hip hop media was at that point, then that wouldn't have happened. It wasn't that this story was so extraordinary that this one had to make it to the screen. It was just what was happening at the time and the timing of it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was becoming the opportunity for that type of a story to be told was, you know, coming into fruition because there were young black people like Dane who had been influenced by that, who'd gotten to a point where they could access that level of media. That's all. So had this happened, had that advent occurred, had young black people from the inner city gotten opportunities to get into the entertainment space where they could actually bring a project to people who could greenlight the project, then we would have had Pee Wee Kirkland's story would have been the story.
It would have been just another route.
Because he was the first young kingpin nigga. First young ass teenage motherfucker riding around Rolls Royce and diamond paved motherfucking watches. in fucking, what? I don't know, 68, 69, 70, 71. Yeah.
Oh, like that. Like the
Yeah.
60s.
Rolls Royces and gold plumbing in his string of homes in Long Island, and elevators
Wow.
in his homes in Long Island. Homes
crazy.
in Long Island.
In the 60s and 70s. That, man.
Yes. He owned the largest jewelry store in New York, brother. He was like 17, 18 years old.
What?
That's
crazy.
And a bunch of the dudes who got money, like who became big drug dealers, when they went to get their work, when they went to buy their work, they got their money from him.
What?
That's how they got their money.
To get started. He was
to get the work. Yeah.
Like startup company. Like,
so it would have been. It's been going down in Harlem. Harlem is where the game began. It's where it began.
Yeah, because even like what American Gangster.
The dope game I'm talking about.
Yeah, like American Gangster was based in Harlem, right?
It was based right in my block.
Yeah.
Literally my block, where I'm from. I remember Blue Magic. I knew Frank Lucas. Yeah.
Wow, that is.
Knew Nicky Barnes too.
That's crazy, because these people are like, they like, it's almost like mythical you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, of course. Of course. They absolutely are.
Yeah.
They absolutely are. Yeah, for real. But they were real people, and I knew them.
Wow, that's crazy from right there.
Yeah, I wrote all of that stuff is in my autobiography. All that stuff is in Raised by Wolves.
Yeah.
That time I wrote very detailed about that time because, most people weren't around and they certainly weren't in proximity. Even if they were in the neighborhood, just because you're in the neighborhood didn't mean that you were privy to street life at all. At all.
Yeah, you
Zero.
Probably wouldn't know what was going on if you wasn't.
I don't give a fuck if you grew up right there in the hood, right there.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have no business. Nobody better not catch you paying no attention.
Yeah.
Your parents, nobody. Nobody better not catch you paying no attention. Mind your fucking business.
Yeah.
Because this is not your life. Even though you live around here. Even though you from here. Even though this your hood.
So
your mother's a working person. Your father's a working person. Your ass goes to church and you go to school and that's who the fuck you are around here.
Yeah.
And at no point does that suddenly change because you're big enough to say, oh, I want to do this. You won't be doing this, motherfucker. Not around here. But I'm from around here. I should be to sell drugs here too. Man, if you don't get your hopey, dopey ass up out of here, man, and go do what the people you came from do.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this, like, cause you was there. Like, how did the real like street niggas, like hustlers and all of that, how did they really feel about the rappers that was coming out and like using their personas? And
at first, motherfuckers thought it was cool, and it started before the records.
Mm-hmm.
What started happening was the DJs, the Brucey B's, the Kid Capri's, the Star Childs, the Starskis, they started shouting out. They started shouting us out on their tapes, on their mixtapes, their club tapes. They used to call them club tapes first,
yeah,
because they were made in the club, in the disco.
Yeah.
And we called it a disco because that was the music. It was a disco, and rap wasn't really played in there.
And it would be certain mixes in there that have it. And that would get dubbed and dubbed all the way out.
Wait, you're talking about a later time. I'm talking about
you're talking about way back.
Yeah, I'm talking about when there weren't any rap records.
Okay.
It was just mixtapes.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Club tapes. Mm-hmm. And certain high profile players would either pay a DJ to shout them out on their mixtape so they could ride around in their 98 with their tape in the tape deck, with their white wall, motherfucking tires and, like literally the sunroof top and the dock in the back, like Really, like literally, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And you got your spokes and all that, whatever, and you riding, and the DJ is talking shit, and he playing this and playing that, and shout out to Big Herm out there, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it started like that.
That's
It started like that. And that motherfuckers thought that was cool. And then they started rapping in the different little crews that was coming up, little rap crews. They would say little things about certain individuals who remained unnamed, certain exploits, that they may have heard about, an individual in their neighborhood being a part of, something like that. No names were ever said. And they didn't go into no deep stories. They'll make a passing reference and move on to the next bars. Mm-hmm. And that was them getting the art form and the culture getting a little more comfortable with our culture, street culture.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Right, because hip-hop culture was not street culture.
Nah,
it was not like, it wasn't crime culture. Right. It was street culture, not crime culture. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So they were, with each generation, they were getting closer and closer to crime culture in terms of proximity. Mm-hmm. Because at first nobody that was hustling, whatever, was paying no attention to no rapper, or no ball player, or none of that. All those guys were fans of us, the street dudes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Girls would come to a game and watch you play and cheer for you and all that, whatever. And then when this intermission, the rapper come out and he do a song, everybody rocking with him. But when it was time to leave, everybody wanted to roll with the hustlers. Everybody went with us. Right?
Yeah.
So when it went from getting shouted out on a mixtape to being referenced to, in without, a name on a record in a little section of a song, to being specific to the details of the life and the things that go on within the life, in telling a story, to starting to not, as the rapper, not telling the story about someone or referring to someone in passing, but to actually say, me, I'm the guy that did this and did that and does this and does that. So they kept getting, with each generation, they kept getting more comfortable with us and closer to us, to the point where they literally slid right into our bodies and became us. And all of a sudden, you got to weigh my coke with the scales that weigh the whales on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would a rapper be saying that?
That's what I'm wondering.
Why would you be assimilating this persona of a drug dealer and you're a rapper? You're obviously a rapper because you're fucking rapping.
Yeah.
So why are you rapping like what you really are as a drug dealer?
When we know rap does not pay drug dealer money.
No, it don't.
You know what I mean?
No, it does not.
So
that's why drug dealers had to pay for all the rappers to record their songs and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
It's still going. That's been going on since the beginning, and it's still going on.
Well, yeah,
just like the mob did with the jazz and everything else, though.
That's the record business. The record business
that's the entertainment business.
Yeah, yeah. It's the people behind it they're using it for a whole nother reason. The entertainers are just entertaining. That's right. That's
right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about controlling narrative. Mm-hmm. It's about putting people in position that you control, who have the attention of the masses. So when you're ready to change a narrative or correct a narrative or whatever have you, you go ahead and you tell them, okay, your next album, this is the theme. Mm-hmm. Write songs around these ideas.
Yep.
And the quality of your life will increase. You'll be able to get more of that worthless paper, but you can trade with people for all kinds of shit. Because they actually think it's worth something.
Yeah, this is true. And keep people spending money wherever it's directed.
Well, I mean, you always got you have to keep. It's hurting. You have to keep hurting them the schmonkeys. You have to keep hurting them. If you don't tell them to keep moving, they'll just sit there.
The
So you gotta
schmunky.
keep hurting them.
I'm about to make.
You
I'm
gotta
gonna
keep
make a. I'm gonna
hurting
make a new sweatshirt. It's gonna say schmunky on it.
I have a design. I haven't printed it yet. I'm an artist. Remember I'm an artist. I draw, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did a robot. It's deliberately crude, but I'm really neat. So it probably doesn't look as crude as I think it does. But it's a crude, meaning unsophisticated, unrefined drawing of a robotic half monkey, half sheep, and he's on a hamster wheel. And then it's just one word, robotic schmonkey on a hamster wheel. But it's all bunched together, so it's robotic schmonkey on a hamster wheel.
Wow.
So you can't really see what it is, but yeah, because that's what people are. Like they're sheepish. Yes, they're sheepish. They'll acquiesce to any force at all. Okay. Oh, wear the mask. Oh, I'll get sick. Yeah, it doesn't matter that a virus is like infinitesimally fucking small, and the pores of this mask are, well, basically like me walking through a doorway. I should wear it. It'll be better. Is this something like when a baby cries because it's hungry and you stick a pacifier in its mouth and it stops crying because it hasn't figured out that nothing's coming out yet? Yeah, is it like that? Pretty
much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But that's what it's about. Mm-hmm. That's what it's about. It is about controlling the masses. That's bottom line. I mean, you got to understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like the people in place in the institutions that I go in and educate, to keep the population within it under control. Right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's an institution.
Yeah.
College has the same thing.
Yeah, it's an institution.
Right? Yeah. Schools, churches have the same thing. They have the same kind of structures. Somebody here to make sure all the rules are being followed, and somebody to watch them, and somebody to watch them, and right? Mm-hmm. Well, society is an institution of institutions. Society itself is an institution. And all the things that are done in it are done to keep the masses institutionalized. And those who resist institutionalization are the problems. They are the glitches within the matrix, and that's why they single individuals like that out. Yeah. And it's understandable. If I were them, I would do the same thing. And that's how I thought when I was in the streets. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Whether I was thinking about the law enforcement, or when I was thinking about opposition, or whomever might be trying to stop me from doing what I'm doing to the degree that I'm doing it, I would think, well, what would I do if I were them to get me? And then I would do everything I could to prevent the opportunity for any of the things I considered. And I was extreme in my considerations. So that meant I considered things that were so involved that if I prepped for them, I had over prepped for any other contingency. That was a theory. Now, I can only say from results that the theory was effective. I walked away alive, healthy, free, and functional after 17 and a half years, only straight, nonstop, not a break. Baltimore, D.C., Richmond, Virginia, Charlottesville, Virginia, fucking Queens, Jamaica, Queens, South Jamaica, Queens in 84. That's when Shower Posse run wild on the line. The South Bronx in 80, 81, 82, 83, Harlem, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, fucking all up and down North Carolina, every major and minor city, all through the periods when these places, some of them had their worst statistics of, murder and all this type of shit. I was in D.C. in 86 when it was the capital of the world, murder capital of the world. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the things I've seen and the places I've seen and the experiences I've had, the majority of the people who took them did not survive them. So I'm not bragging about that. And if I were bragging, that'd be my motherfucking business. If I wanted to brag, I could brag because I did it. But I'm not bragging because that's not the value that I'm finding in that. The value I'm finding in that is that I can substantiate the things that I say from practical fucking understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think these things. I know them because I did them. And I process them not just through the historical event itself, but through the clinical and expanded understandings that I've gained in my time since I left that life. I've looked at it in a way that there was no way I could look at it back then. And I realized in looking at it through my paradigm of now, I was operating on a critical level back then. And that is the only reason that my outcome was my outcome. Not that I was doing anything different than anybody else. I just approached it differently.
So let me ask you this then. So say a cat, he early mid-20s or something, he come to you, he say, he been in the streets for however many years since he was a kid, and he wants to get out, but he has no skills, no diploma, no nothing, and he's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, how am I supposed to make money? I want to get out, but like, what kind of advice could you give to him?
Well, I'd say you came to the right person. It just so happens I'm you. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
Only I didn't have anybody to go to but those books. That's the question I was asking. That's what I was saying. I'm tired of this. I want something else. But I don't know anything else. I've only ever done this. I've never done anything else. Never had a job, never did nothing but hit the bricks and hustle. That's all I've ever done. And it was what I was insulated by. My mother, my father, all of my siblings, all of my immediate family, everybody. That's what we did. So it was a reality I knew. And, we had a very high quality material existence. So as far as society was concerned, it was a very successful model. So I was further reinforced because of my personal presentation throughout my childhood and into early adolescence. Further validated the choice. Of course, this is what I'll do. There's no downs. It wasn't like people in my family were going to jail. They weren't going to jail. They had money. They were intelligent. They weren't going to jail. So I had no perspectives of the cons. But because they made me so proficient at it, so effective at it, I got to go all the way through it. Everything that you think would occur to you when you get money and you're young and you're in power, you're confident, and everything that you could think would imagine that would come to you that you would want to do, I did it. I had the opportunity to do it. So after you've done all of that and you look up and you say, well, okay, now what? Done that shit. I can't see myself just going through that again. I've done it. I started when I was 13. I'll be 31 in a few months. I'll be 31. This was 6 months before my 31st birthday. I was like, why would I keep doing this? So, when he says I don't have any skills, I remember when I said, dang, the only thing I know how to do is be a drug dealer. Dropped out of school in 10th grade. Never had a job. Never done anything but this. Damn. The choice it now owns me because this is me at 19. It now owns me. First, it was a choice that I felt like I made. because I didn't understand the impact of my developmental influence. I didn't know that there was no chance that as long as I stayed with my family, that I was not going to make that choice. No way it was going to happen. Right? I wasn't even aware that there were options. Like, I just didn't recognize them, which is remarkable, right? Because I see people driving buses and doing all kinds of stuff all day long. But none of those things seemed real to me at all. At all. Like, my first grade teacher, I wrote about this in my book. My first grade teacher, she said to me, she collected a writing assignment from us, and I always enjoyed writing. And when she got this, my paper, she looked at it, whatever. She said, you write well, Cavario, you could be a writer. And I looked at her and I said, a writer? I'm gonna be a gangster.
Yeah.
I was, how old are you in first grade? 5? 4? I started school early, so I might have been 4. There was no rap. And no rapper influenced me to say that or think that.
Yeah.
I lived with super niggas. My mother was a super nigga. My father was a super nigga. My mother's husband was a super nigga. My older brothers, super niggas. My sister, super nigga. Like, these, I had no posters on the wall, brother. I lived with my heroes. I had no posters on my wall as a kid. There was nobody whose picture I want on my wall. These motherfuckers were phenomenal. They were unbelievable. It was super fucking human. Like, the world bent to them. I lived in an altered reality coming up.
Yeah.
So there was nothing that was more powerful than the influence of that idea. Gangsters.
So you really grew up different though, because your parents were like
Yes, I did.
friends with Frank Lucas and Nicky Barnes and stuff like that, or how did that work? Or they were like even before that.
No, Nikki, my mother, my mother's husband, my father, Nikki and my father, my mother's husband, they all knew each other. My mother got Nikki off of dope and he's eating out of garbage cans on 115th and Lenox Avenue.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Man.
So Nikki and my mother's husband, they rocked together, right? My mother's husband was an enforcer and a hitman. And he tried to leave her with $500,000 of their money. He was younger than my mother, and he tried to leave her for this younger woman with $500,000 of their money in driving away in a car that he had bought them. And she shot him to death in front of my building, point blank range, 6 times.
Wow.
And his reputation was so bad that they said she did a public service, and then they dismissed the case. This is public record now. People like to tell stories, but this is public record.
Yeah.
She was arrested. Her name was Vivian Ferguson. Her husband's name was James Ferguson, and she killed him. Shot him 6 times point blank range with the nickel-plated pearl handle 38 snub nose that he bought her, and she had previously shot him with before, maybe the year before.
Wow.
And he got violated on his parole because he wouldn't tell them who shot him, and they said, well, if we don't lock you up, we know you're going to kill them. So they violated his parole, put him back in jail because he wouldn't tell them that his wife shot him. So this is the wonderful environment I grew up in.
That's crazy.
So, see, I'm actually a street person. There's a bunch of people in the street. They ain't street people. They're not. I feel sorry for them because that means that they're victims of memes. They're victims of whatever the memes were. People think memes were something that were made up, like, when the internet came along or when Instagram came along.
Yeah.
But not at all. It's a very, very old concept.
Well, yeah, definitely. We all know that.
No, we all don't know that.
You know what?
That's not true.
You know what? I guess we don't. It's a lot of people that don't. But I thought we all knew that and the meme that we see now is just the internet interpretation of it. But you know, you can look back in history and see. I mean, everybody's been memed. Like all the famous, you know.
Everybody always has been memed. You
That's
know,
what I
people
think,
who resisted have been the people who have been, you know, ridiculed and killed for being heretics and, you know, or witches or, you know, despots or, you know, whatever.
Everybody famous, like we can see all the famous people in meme form from even in our history books and stuff as kids. You know what I mean?
Our history books, we don't have no history books. Okay. The history books.
The ones we used, in school. Well, I don't even think I had history books. They called it social studies when I was a kid. We didn't have.
Yeah, they called it history when I was, you know.
Yeah, it was social studies.
You know, we had social studies. You know, but we did have history class. We had, you know, global history and shit like that, whatever. But I was always that kid who would be like, "Wait a minute, hold on. You telling me that this motherfucker discovered Cavario? Please stop cursing. This nigga," because that's how I talk. So this nigga came over here and found all of my people here. Because I have known forever that I am Blackfoot Cherokee. I know where my family comes from. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I'm like, we were here when you got here, and you didn't discover shit. That's like coming to my house and discovering $20 on my floor.
Right.
Fuck is you talking about?
Right.
And that's how it was as a kid. I would get put out of class, man. I'm talking about 4th grade. I'd be getting put out of class for disruption because you got to explain that to me. I'm not accepting that. And it was because that's the kind of people that I was raised by. And because they were so domineering and so frightening, so terrifying, that when I got outside in the world, I was like, y'all don't mean shit to me. The people I live with will kill you. They will kill me. So, nothing. I was not afraid of anything or anyone except my mother. And I'd tell a teacher in a minute, hey, I'm not buying that. I'm not fucking with that. I spent so much time in middle school and not so much in high school. They were kind of, and anybody who went to high school with me will tell you, I went to music and art. Anybody who went to high school with me will tell you. I was supposed to graduate in 85, right? Mm-hmm. So anybody who went to music and art between 81 and 85 knows me. First 2 years, we was in the castle in Harlem, 135th Street, St. Nick Terrace. I think they gave that school to campus, that building to campus, because their building was falling apart. And their building was on the NYU property, a few blocks away from us on 135th. And once we left that building, we went down to this building that was built. It was like one of the first, most advanced, educational buildings in New York or whatever. They had elevators and escalators and this whole kind of stuff. It was very fancy, but it was, the new LaGuardia School of Arts. We were previously music and art, LaGuardia Music and Art, School of the Music and Arts, right? And so I was in both buildings for 2 years. And anybody who went to school with me will validate, verify anything I say. Anybody who grew up with me will validate and verify everything that I say.
Because I'm trying to think.
And if you went to high school with me, you knew I ran that motherfucker.
If my hip-hop Rolodex serves me correctly, I think that's like the Jungle Brothers and Fife and all of them went to music and arts up there, right? That's the same school.
No, I don't remember. I don't know, because these guys are younger than me, right? So maybe they might have. Cause they're younger. Those guys are younger.
Yeah, it would have been. I guess early 90s or late 80s.
Yeah. They're younger than me. They might have gone there. I wouldn't remember. I know Tashina Arnold went to school with me. She used to chase me around. She was a year behind me. She was a crazy little kid. Carl
That's crazy.
Carl Carlton Payne.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he used to go to school. He used to go to school with me. He used to work.
You talking
He was
about
a
Carl
kid.
Payne
Carl Payne.
that played on Martin
Yeah.
too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Carlton. We called him Carlton in high school, and he used to work. He used to work for me. He used to sell blow for me in school. He worked for my lieutenant Stanley Robinson. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's cockroach right there.
Slick, yep. Slick Rick used to go to school with me.
Slick
Dane.
Rick. That's what I was trying to think of. Who back in the, it was somebody else back in the day. It was Slick Rick,
Dane.
Yeah.
They had a crew called the Kango crew.
Yeah. They went.
They used to all wear Kangos and beat on the tables at lunch and all that type of shit. I was selling coke and wearing fur coats. I wasn't paying the kids no attention, man.
That's crazy.
One time, I'm gonna tell you a funny story about Dana. So these guys, I was a very, very popular kid in school and didn't give a fuck about it because I rolled with adults. My girl was an adult, you know what I mean? All my women were adults, and you know, my cronies were adults. So I didn't really pay these kids no attention. And anybody went to school with me would tell you, they'll be like, yo, it was like he was like a grown person in school. Right? So these guys couldn't understand why I was as popular as I was. I mean, I was fly, but it's like I wasn't trying to be. I was just me. But they were like performing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were putting on shows and shit. It's like, why does this guy just like casually get all this attention? So Rick used to sometimes try to compete with me. So one day Rick came up to me and he said, I'm gonna tell you the Dana story after this, but he came to me and said, yo, Cavario. And I might have been walking down the hall with two girls on my arms, like literally walking down the hall like that with two girls. You know, and he go, yo, Cavario. I said, what's up, Rick? He said, yo, I bet I can get more name chains than you. Because this is during the name chain days. So all the little cute girls had their little name chains, right?
Yeah.
Gold name chains. So he said, I bet I can get more name chains by the end of the day than you. I said, oh, all right. Well, let's see. And, you know, he went off, whatever. And I giggled, you know, because I was like, the fuck you talking? I don't give a fuck about that shit, nigga. Yeah. So, you know, but Rick was a good kid though, man. He was a good kid. I was just a grown ass fucking kid. You know what I mean? There was nothing wrong with their innocence and their naivete. You know what I'm saying? I was just a kid who lost his fucking innocence too early. That's all that was. But you know, at the time, it was entertaining to me. You know, and you know, I egged him on and shit, and I see him a couple of periods later. And he's like, you know, before the first lunch or whatever, he's like, yo, I got three. And I'm like, all right. You gonna see. And he walk off, and I start laughing. I hit the bathroom, make a couple of sales, and go on where I'm going. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, nigga, like, I'm getting money, nigga. I got a pocket full of bread, nigga. What the fuck you talking about, nigga? Yeah. I don't care what you talking about. Little kid. Like, go beat on the table, nigga. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the end of the day comes. No, before the end of the day, around the third lunch period, girls come to me going, Cavario, you see Rick? He asked me to see my name chain, and I turned around, he was gone. So he was snatching their name chains under the auspices of, let me look at your shit. Your shit ain't real gold. Let me see. Man, you should let me put this shit. You should let me rock this shit. You let me rock this shit. You know, salute your shit and run off. Yeah. But they, you know, it's Rick. They know, you know, they probably half-ass liked him any goddamn way. So it's like, you know, whatever. Yeah. You know, but they were like, they were looking for him because it was kind of odd.
Because it was theirs, yeah.
Right. He ain't gonna run off and come right back. Like, he went off, and it's 2 periods later. I don't know where he is with my chain. You know what I'm saying? So it was that kind of thing. So at the end of the day, we sitting outside, and he walks up. He go, yo, what's up? What's up, Cavario? I got, you know, well, 5 or 6 or whatever. And I turn around and go, yeah, you won, man, you won. And turn back around, we start laughing and shit, because I was telling people who I was talking to at that circle about this.
About it already.
And then he walks up, And he comes and does that, and I go, you won, man. And I start laughing and shit. And I used to do shit like that to them. So this one with Dana was a little more
Rick too, like that's crazy.
It's a little more malicious, this one, but it not intended. It was just I was a hustler, and I just did what a hustler would do. So, like I said, I'm hitting in school, whatever. I got these dimes of some very, very, very. I've always had very high quality coke. So, when I was in the game or whatever, and so I had these $10 capsules. They were shaped just like nails. They looked just like a nail. Like a pointed in with a flat top. Like that, like old school hammer nail. And I had the little paper bag, for the candy, little candy paper bag. And I had like
brown,
maybe
or the white, like the white wax,
little brown ones, little like this type of shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had like maybe 3 clips of 10 rubber banded in clips of 10, 3 of them inside the bag. You remember the old loose leaf notebooks that had like the denim finish and had the clip when you open it up and had that clip right there for all the papers that inevitably fell out.
Yeah.
You had the clip to hold it.
Yeah.
So I had the bag clipped in there with the coat.
With the notebook closed.
Yes, with the notebook closed. So it's the end of the day. I'm going down the hill, going to the train station, and I used my pass and went through, and then this cop pops up and goes, "Hey, come back through here. You didn't no, I showed my train pass." And then I went through, right? And he was like, you didn't show your train pass, or like you supposed to, whatever. So I said, yes, I did. And he goes, let me see. But I had the train pass clipped. So I walked in, I had my notebook, I walked in, I showed it to the lady, and then I took it and I stuck it in the clip and went under the turnstile. So when he said, show me, I'm like, oh shit. I'm about to open the thing and the bag is sitting right there. And I don't want him to ask what that is because I ain't showing them. I'm out.
Yeah.
So this is back when the turnstiles were made of wood, right? I'm talking about 80s, right?
Yeah.
The turnstiles are made of wood. And they were about this wide and about that thick. And when you moved through, the one behind you went underneath the thing and was out of sight.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, kind of.
So right. So I put it on the one behind me, and when I because he made me come back through. So when I turned my book upside down and started shaking, so the papers would fall out, so I could slip my pass out, and I slipped the bag out and stuck it on the turnstile behind me. Right. I stuck it on that one that was still underneath the machine. And then I turned around and I showed him my pass. He goes, oh, okay. All right, go ahead. So I go on through the gate, right? I pick my papers up and I go through the gate, and the thing is sitting right there on the turnstile. So the next person that goes through, it's going to be sitting in now the
like
exposed position. It's going to be sitting right there. So I run down to the end of the train station. I come out. It's a block long. I'm at 135th. I run down to the 134th Street entrance. And I come out, and I run back up to the stairs, run up the steps, and I catch Dana coming down. I say, yo, come here. I say, here, take this. Go down there. Pay for a token. He goes, I got my train pass. I said, no, listen, go and get a token. And when you go through the turnstile, push through. And when you push through, it's going to be a bag on the thing on the arm right behind you. Pick that bag up and bring it down to me at the end of the train station on that side. All right? So he does it. right? And he comes back down to the 134th Street entrance, right? And he gives me the bag, and he goes, here's the bag right here, Cavario. I said, thanks, man. And he goes, what is it? And I go, and I show him the yay. And the motherfucker has a shit fit. He's like, yo. He's like, yo. Oh my god, man. Yo, man. I could have went to jail. His behavior was I was so fucking dysfunctional and antisocial that I did not. It just didn't register the weight of what could have happened to him. It didn't register, and I was just so tickled by how upset he was at the idea of getting caught with the cocaine. Because I didn't worry about it at all. I had cocaine and guns on me all the fucking time, 24 hours a day. Two guns and coke all the fucking time. 2 guns since I was like 12 years old. So, like, the idea of him being so bothered by it like that, and so, like, nigga, you didn't get caught, I got it now. And he's going through like he's in danger right now. I was laughing my ass off, and he was so fucking upset, man. I'm sorry, Dana. I never apologized for that. I'm sorry.
That's crazy.
That was some fucked up shit.
Wow, and that was when he was in high school too. Like,
I was in 9th grade.
Shit, that's funny.
9th grade, bro.
Damn,
9th grade.
Damn.
Being a menace to society.
Day to day, he almost had his shitting on himself. But nah.
Yeah, he was definitely shitting.
I'm sure that's how it was. I mean, Dane and Slick Rick, they never came off like they was trying to be tough guys ever. They was rocking parties and you know what I mean?
That was Rick's. Rick came out. Dana came out with a song before Rick did.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely heard of Dana Dane.
But
first.
Rick, that style that Dana was rapping in, that wasn't Dana didn't rap like that.
Yeah, he said it.
That's how Rick rapped.
Yep.
That was Rick. Rick had rapped like that all throughout high school. Dana never rapped like that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he comes out and he's rapping like that. It's like, what the fuck?
See, we had no idea. We had never heard nothing like that. Mm-mm. And I ran down there and bought that Dana Dane album. I had it on wax and tape. You know what I mean? And then, then when Slick Rick came out with Dougie Fresh, really he was MC Ricky D back then. When I first heard, man, it was over.
MC Ricky D. That's what he was in high school.
Yeah,
MC Ricky D in high school.
I got a song called Slick Rick. Like the whole thing. But yeah, man,
it was crazy, bro.
Yeah, he's a GOAT, definitely.
Yeah, a lot of cats though. A lot of cats went to music and art though. Billy D. Williams went to music and art.
Wow.
I mean, a bunch of people went to music and art. Music and art. When I went to music and art, it was the hardest high school in New York to get into. And I got into every high school. I got into all the private high schools, all of the boys, All Hallows and Cardinal Hayes and Rice. I got into all of them shits, but I wasn't for it. I had been wearing a uniform for the last 2 years in private school because I got kicked out of the public school system in 6th grade for throwing some kid in front of a car because he was in my way. I was trying to watch a fight. In my school, in 4th grade, 5th grade, 3rd grade, 2nd grade, it was a fight every single day, at least one, every single day.
Yeah.
Not a day went by where there wasn't a fight. No such thing. Every day is a fight.
Yeah, that's how it was growing up. That's how I was.
Before long, it was me every day. Mm-hmm. Every day. And after you kick a bunch of motherfuckers' ass, then it's like it's never you. It's never ever you because everybody already know.
Yeah,
he gonna kick your ass.
Down. Yeah. But that happens a little later, like high school ish. You know what I mean?
Not for me. That happened. That happened by seventh grade. that was established for me. Like,
Yeah, nah, I was still fighting.
I
in
was
high
adult.
school.
I was adult violent because I was raised by violent adults. You know,
Mm-hmm.
mother's a killer, father's a killer, stepfather's a killer, yeah, I mean, brothers, sisters, killers, uncles killers, everybody's killers. So violence was a norm for me. I didn't really know better. You know what I'm saying? So I was adult violent. Motherfuckers didn't fuck with me.
It was like they
Really,
back.
for real. People grew up with me. They'll tell you, they were like, "Yo, he used to be fucked up."
Yeah.
But I didn't know it though. I didn't know it. I didn't know I was fucked up. You know, I used to be offended that people were uncomfortable around me or nervous around me, or when I walk by, they be doing like this. You know, I used to be like, "Fuck is wrong with you?" And basically, I would behave the way that they were afraid I was going to behave because I didn't like the way they were behaving. Stop acting like a bitch, nigga. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just aggressive because the people I was raised by in my home was aggression. Absolute aggression. Everybody was aggressive. Even in their play, they were just aggressive, and they were dangerous, and they were violent, and they were erratic. You know, it was alcohol and cocaine and money. You know, and power. It was crazy. It was fucking crazy. It was an opulent asylum.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Man, I definitely appreciate you coming on here and chopping it up with me, man.
No doubt, bro. It's been a while.
Like, definitely, man. That was dope. Like, and hopefully, like, because I'm gonna chop this up and put it up. I kind of like archive it to where, people can go back and rewatch it and stuff like that.
Right.
And hopefully, man, we inspire somebody, you know what I mean, or it just inspire people to be able to make that change or do better for themselves, really, is what it's all about.
Right. I don't know if I completely answered that question. What would I tell him? I would tell him that what he needs to do. His last part was what should I do? What you should do is learn. You should study. You should start reading. Start reading about things that will help you to understand your choices better. You know, a book that had a tremendous impact on me was Women Who Love Too Much. Tremendous life-changing impact, the information that book presented to me, and I was fortunately ready for it. It wasn't easy. It was a book I had to put. I might have read 4 books in between the completion of that book, starting and completing that book. Everybody I know had the same experience, but they had to put it down because it hit so close to home, and it peels back the layers of a lot of the misconceptions and straight bullshit that you may have been telling yourself for a very long time and operating under the belief of, and it frees you up to, make informed, self-aware choices going forth, It's the book that led me to becoming monogamous, and then another book is The Spirit of a Man by Jan Van Zandt. And again, it was one of those books where I found myself looking over my shoulder like, you talking to me? I mean, this shit is talking to me. This must be talking, because I couldn't have imagined that this specific a degree of information could be, and specific to me as I felt, and be as general as it is. Because I'm so special. So,
like, it was hitting home, even though,
yes,
yeah, you didn't know
even though it was an explanation of a general condition that exists amongst certain people under certain circumstances, and whatever. Like, this is something that happens to mammalian brains based upon these types of circumstances. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. You experience these certain things. There are certain things that will activate in this brain that we all have the same, and it will bring about certain behaviors. And that's just how it works. So, it helped to become aware of the workings of this thing. I would tell the person to educate themselves. I would tell them to start reading and watching documentaries. I didn't have that kind of stuff when I first started. There were no documentaries to watch when I first started my journey, And if there were, they were few and far apart, and there was no YouTube. So you had to actually go and find them, So I have a library of still VHS tapes. Some, I've been able to get on DVD of very in-depth but obscure information about a plethora of different subject matters, And the exposure to all these different things has, like I mentioned earlier, helped me to understand the experiences I had and the choices I made to a greater degree, because I have more of a structured and clinical percept to process this information through. So you find through studying that there are circumstances that come about as a result from certain experiences, and it doesn't matter who you are. That's how your brain's going to react, and if you're not aware of that, you'll be inclined to think that this is some conscious choice that you made, and it's not. It's just a reaction, a chemical reaction.
Yeah.
A neurochemical reaction,
situation, and things like that.
Yeah. Like when you get afraid and or frightened or angry, or that when that amygdala activates and shuts down that cerebral cortex, that decision center, that frontal lobe where your cognitive decision making, measuring and deciding, and weighing pros and cons, all that is shut down when that amygdala is activated. When that amygdala is activated, it's instinct. It's fight or flight or freeze. And not knowing that would really leave a person wide open to putting themselves in positions where they thought they were smart enough to deal, to come through the situation, but they didn't know anything about the fact that their smarts might be undermined by, the activation of this very old, component of the human brain where they can't think. Oh, shit, what the fuck? Homie's dead. Oh. It's like, damn, come on, I can't think. Why can't I think? So I would tell a young brother to learn, to study everything. One thing will lead to another. I read books that mentioned other books, referenced other books, like any real good book, well-researched book will do. And I read those books. And if I came across a book, or as I did many, 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 many times for years, if I came across a word I didn't understand, I did not go on. I didn't try to guess. If I can't define this word in my mind and feel confident that I know what this is, then I'm stopping and I'm looking the word up. And in looking it up, if I come across a word in the definition that I don't know, I'm going to stop, look that word up. And if that happens again in the next word, in the next definition, I'll stop and look that up. But by the time I work my way back to that original word, I possess this word. This word is assimilated to me. It's now a part. I don't necessarily have to use a word. There are many words I use in my head when I'm speaking to people that I would never say to people unless they were like really staunch academics, because it would be obnoxious. You know what I'm saying? So, or pompous, you know what I mean? So, I say that to say that although I may not use the expansive vocabulary that practice has afforded me, I still am operating internally. I'm operating with all of that content, I'm building percepts and, ideas and concepts with all of that to work with, all of these understandings, this information, and how it can correlate, from one subject to another, how different subjects or concepts within different subjects coalesce to create a whole nother understanding in a completely unrelated subject. And I learned that from doing that, and became a polymath, right? That's not a word that you commonly see or hear, but I've been seeing it. I've been seeing it. I've seen it a few times on Instagram, and so I feel encouraged that more people will use it if it's used more. You know what I'm saying? And it simply means a person that studies everything. Right. And I just want to see us become more comfortable with the idea of being intelligent, and not thinking that it somehow detracts from your cool. It's a jackass backward idea to think that it's cool to appear dumb, and it's not cool to be smart. Like the world is not being run by nerds.
Yeah, exactly. What's interesting to me is that what you just said about studying, reading books is like the first step to leading you into like a better situation for yourself. What's interesting to me is that I watched a live video that Brother Polite had posted once, where he spoke on that same thing. He was saying that's how he got out the streets. Was he started off just reading books. And
that's what that book that I read.
One book led to another book and led to another. Yeah.
that Spirit of a Man one.
Mm-hmm.
Just like when I finished reading, or before I finished reading Women Who Love Too Much, I had become monogamous. By the time I finished The Spirit of a Man, I was done with the streets. By that time, because I used to do a week, 4 days, and then I would go home, and then my partner would do 4 days, and then he would go home.
Mm-hmm.
And this time I said, yo, chill for a month. I'm going to rock. And then when I'm done, I'm going to go and chill for a month. And you just rock. During that month, as I'm doing all my running around, doing a lot of running around, you know what I'm saying? I'm cutting dope and bagging dope and, cooking coke and chopping and bagging that. And, I'm in the gym 3 hours a day, and I'm reading 4 or 5 hours a day. And, I'm really just moving.
Uh-huh.
And I'm there for this month, and by the time I'm done, by the time the month is up, I don't know it yet, but I'm done. So I get home, and, it's early in the day when I get there. I go and I lay down for a few hours, and I get up and I go in my kitchen. And this is a house that I bought in Marietta, in Marietta. So, this was in '96 before the Olympics. Got this house, and I'm walking in the kitchen. I'm walking out of the kitchen, and the girl whom I was with at the time, whom I ended up starting Diva magazine with 2 years after we separated, she stops me and she looks at me. She said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I'm tired." And she says, "What you want to do?" And I'm thinking, I'm going to go and lay down. But her response, it wasn't like that. She wasn't asking me, what you want to do. She was asking me, what you want to do. And like, which with life now. And when she said that, when I realized what she was asking me, then I realized what she must have heard when I said, I'm tired. And so I responded to what she was responding to when she said what she said. That's what she said. And I said, in that moment, and just processing that, she must have heard me say, I'm tired of this. That's what she must have heard me say. That means that must have been what I'm saying and not realizing that that's what I'm saying until right now. And that is what the fuck, I am tired. And I said to her, right then, I said, I don't want to do this no more. And she didn't say, what about the house, the mortgage? What about the cars? You just bought a brand new, you just got me an Audi convertible, brand new Audi convertible, and you just bought yourself a new Lincoln, what was the new truck, the first year? It was an 08, 98, 90, 97, no, that was 97. It was 97, yeah, because I retired in 97. I had a 98 Navigator, Navigator's first year. I had just bought it. And she was like, she didn't say none of that. She didn't say, what about the notes? What about the the lifestyle? What about the, she didn't say none of that. She said, whatever you want to do, I got you. I'm with you. I got your back. And she didn't work. She didn't work. She didn't have to work. She held my kids down. Neither one of them were hers. She had, at one point, she had 4 of my kids she was holding down while I was running around in Baltimore and all that, whatever. Yeah. She's 19 years old with 4 of my kids. Only 2 of them are from my own loins. So she's got 2 children that are neither mine nor hers that she's taking care of in addition to my 2. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but she's the one that gave me those books. She's the one that gave me the first book that I read, which was Monster. And all the books after that, she would read them and then she would give them to me. Difference was that I would read them and I would assimilate them, like all the self-help books, all the codependent books, all the dysfunctional books, read all of them joints. Right? But she would read them and she handed them to me. But when I read them, I would assimilate the premises. I would be like, oh, okay. I get that. And now I'm not going to operate like I don't get that no more. Yeah. So the more I did that, the less I became the person that she initially was with. Already being monogamous was a problem for her because that meant that I no longer had the distractions that I once had. And I was paying much closer attention to who she was, which she'd never had to deal with before. Right. He was always playing victim from afar. Oh, you're always away. You're always leaving. But, that sound good. But what about when I'm not away no more? Now it's like, when you going out of town? When you're leaving again. When you're leaving again. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because, she was you fucking around with a guy that got 11 other women, you have some serious issues. And you definitely aren't suddenly going to be the woman who can now be with the guy who only is with one woman. You're a woman who has managed to make it okay to be with a guy is with several other women. You know it because he told you, and he'll tell you anything you ask him. There was no secrets about how I got down at all. Every woman I dealt with. That's why every woman I dealt with, I'm tight with to this day. I'm talking about from 13. Because I did not play those games. I did no lying, no cheating. I have other girlfriends. My name is Cavario. I have other girlfriends. So,
Yeah.
And that's not going to change no matter what you do. It's not going to change because it's what I want. That's what I like. You know what I mean? So, but I never lied to him and never played him and never disrespected him and never hit no fucking body and, you know, and looked out and did nice things and exposed them to nice things and, you know, made them feel safe at all times. Even now, they still feel like, yeah, don't make me call Cavario, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, it is what it is, man.
That's what's up, man.
It is what it is.
So yeah, man, you wanna plug the books again and let us know how to catch up with you, like if people want to tap in more about the prison reform and things like that.
www.cavarioonline.com. On social media, cavario.online, because somebody hacked my original page. Like, as soon as I hit 10,000, they just hacked it. I don't know what that was about, but I couldn't care less. I just did another one. I'm like, okay.
That's what's up.
But that's it. Cavario.online on IG, and, you know, just, you know, once you tap in with me on my social media, then you'll be able to really tune into what everything I'm doing. Raised by Wolves, my autobiography. Get Smart. I have only an e-book right now. I do have to do a physical reprint because I've already written part 2 long ago. Calvin's War.
The ebook is dope though. I think it's like $3.99.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like $3.99. It's dope.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And then it's Old Gangsters and Young Guns, and then it's my 4th book, 50 Critical Quotes, which is 50 of my personal quotes and the elaborations, basically the understandings that are to be taken away from the quotes as I intended them. But on the opposite page in that same book is a journal page for the person reading it to engage with that information in the way that I engage with the information that changed my life as I was, you know, making my transition out of that state of mind into, you know, true self-awareness and self-responsibility. And writing, journaling was a major component. All those books that I read, those, you know, 100 or so books in that space, they all had the one thing in common. A lot of them regurgitated a lot of the same information, sometimes verbatim, which is cool for, you know, reinforcement. And a lot of them had a lot of different premises, a lot of same premises, but there was one thing that was common throughout all of them, and that was they all encouraged you to journal. All of them. Physically write with your hand on a piece of paper. And that's how my first book came about. It was my journal. And after about 40 pages, I recognized that I had done something, survived something that most people don't. And it was probably some value in sharing that, which is why Diva became the stories of people who lived lives like mine but didn't get the outcome I got. My former friends and cohorts and associates, family members.
Yeah.
That stuff. But yeah, so 50 critical quotes, you journal, you engage with the information, and you make your own versions of those ideas, whatever, but you journal and you just do that. And it's like it's a pocket size. It perfectly fits in your pocket so that cats can keep it with them. And cats do, 50 critical quotes. But yeah, you can see all that on my website and my social media.
That's what's up.
All right.
Yeah, man. I definitely appreciate you coming out here chopping it up. That's dope.
It was cool, man. Had a little break. I probably I guess I played hooky a little bit, but it's all good.
Yeah, that's man. But we here now, man. So yeah, man. I'm gonna definitely tap back in with you. Hopefully, I can get you on the show again. I'd love to have you on here with somebody else where we can kind of have more of an open forum kind of discussion. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think
that'd be dope.
That'll be tight. But yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on here. I mean, having me on here. I appreciate you coming on here. That show you, man. I'm used to being on the other side. But yeah, man, Stink New, SideStreet Kid, Cavario, the Mind Plug.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Till next time. We out.
All right.
Yeah.
Remember to think critically so you can live wonderfully. Peace.
Peace.
Shoulder the load, the troublesome soul, body covered in gold. The flow is Eureka. Smoke more than I need to give me a reason. Don't give me the beast. And you get that chef, I be your green like a vegan. I'm black and I'm proud on James Brown. Just thinking out loud like Ed Sheeran. No hero, just me. So I talk soup like me so, and back it up like freak so. Leave me be or things blow. I give the pinnacle, mini go brag about selling dope, round up a meaningful. All that they seem to do is sell a drum or two.
I'm just a fool. I'm just a fool. I'm just a fool. I'm just a fool.
Writing these songs ain't righting my wrongs, bearing my soul every word that I'm speaking. Give me a reason, balling all week, not just for the week. And now what I smoke so foul, the aroma so strong that it's constantly breathing. Headed to the top, ain't nothing that can stop, but the bottom is where I begin. We can pretend we ain't seeing who's that in my window peeking, peeping in on all my secrets. Who's that round that corner creeping, thinking they gon' catch me sleeping, but they'll never catch me though. It's the F and ain't no question, no.
I'm just a fool.